Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between Echuchee spawning as the red Protoss player over here on the south side of Blistering Sands against me here spawning over here as the blue Terran player over here on the north side. This is from one of my 1v1 games that I just played recently. It was a very good and exciting match, so I thought it would be very fun to just try to cast and try to figure out what exactly I could do and just watch it just to get a mind and an insight into the game. Now, excuse me, now I am currently ranked, I believe, 17th or 15th in the Gold League, and so I'm slowly making my way back up after falling from the Platinum League. Meanwhile, Echuchee is, I believe, number 4 in the Gold League as well, so in a different division, but still number 4 in the Gold League, so fairly even there. Taking a look, Nexus now coming in, and we also have this pylon coming over here on this front door in order to build some gateways. Now, on Desert Oasis, Terran always has the options to go Reapers. Since the minerals are so exposed to a Reaper harassment, it's easy to just jump up, start shooting units, and then jump back down. So Reaper harassment is always going to be an issue. Now, whether or not your opponent is going to be vulnerable to Reaper harass is one of the more difficult tells. Now, taking a look at Echuchee's base, I see he's going to be getting that single gateway. And I'll go ahead and tell you how, as a Terran player, you can tell whether or not you can get away with some Reaper harass. Not a lot, but just enough to try to give you some sort of economic advantage early in the game. Taking a look back over here, I am getting my refinery and trying to get my refinery up so I can get that gas, because Reapers are so gas intensive. Taking a look back over here, we have a supply depot, front door here. I really don't like this front door for Terran. It doesn't really work out that well for Terran, but then again, it doesn't really work out well down over here either. I guess you can do double supply depot and then wall it off that way with that tech lab. Taking a look over here, we have Echuchee going double gateway, and what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be scouting with this SCV, and I need to see how quickly or how much he's invested in gateways. If he goes double gateway, I know for a fact that I should be able to do some Reaper harassment, as his cybernetics core will be significantly behind. And most likely he will be producing zealots out of that. So I'm going to come up the ramp, see that there is in fact a zealot being produced. See in fact that a zealot is being produced out of that gateway, and also a secondary gateway. So with the double gateway, I think that I can really position myself in a fairly decent manner. Also, both of these Vespian geysers, both of these assimilators are not yet done, so stalkers are definitely going to be delayed. Taking a look at my SCV is shift-clicked all around that map in order to just get as much sight as possible. Zealot, secondary zealot now being trained up as well, so there's 2 zealots being trained up, so that I know I want to try to go for some Reaper harassment. So I'm going to go ahead and open up that game with a Reaper harassment, drop down a secondary barracks. So I'm going to have 2 barracks, both producing Reapers, and then I want to transition that to some Ghost. Taking a look, finally getting that cybernetics core. So that cybernetics core now being warped in as well. So that cybernetics core going to be a little bit delayed. My SCV getting stuck up there a little bit and then getting taken down. So 2 zealots are the first things being produced, and now a 3rd zealot being produced as well. Taking a look at the army sizes, Echuchee now getting has 2 zealots. I, on the other hand, have some marauders, and I have a single Reaper, and I think I have a couple Marines as well. So that's how that's really working out there. I have my single Reaper right there. Just getting that secondary Reaper trained up, and then gonna get that or my 3rd and 4th Reaper trained up at the same time, so I will in fact have 4 Reapers able to do some harassment in just a little bit. Taking a look back over here, cybernetics core now trying to get that warp gate warp in, and now getting some sentries as well. So sentries and that zealot and sentries being used to try to choke off this particular choke point, so I am not able to get in or out. But unbeknownst to him, I am actually going for Reapers, so Reapers will in fact be able to just jump up and down. Taking a look back at the game, looking to now getting a robotics facility. Robotics facility, very useful for those observers and those immortals, but that's just the general gameplay. I'm going to try to do this more of as a commentary style now, or a shoutcast, as opposed to one of my commentaries, as I feel that I'm just going to be giving too much away. So the whole entire time for the past 4 minutes I've been talking about Reapers, and now in come these Reapers. Taking a look back at the main base, a Ghost Lab now, Ghost Academy already down, so training up a Ghost and getting some Marauders in order to continue this fight. In come these Reapers, so Reapers now trying to take down some of these workers, trying to take down as many workers as I can, able to stop him from mining for a little while, get him down to 17, 16 workers, trying to stop his whole entire mining production, now trying to go after some of the assimilators and perhaps delay some of that gas. Now we have a couple of zealots coming in. Nice force field, forcing me to be able to jump down over here. And now that single stalker is going to make it fairly difficult for me to come back in. Going to move over here, find a single stalker on this ramp, and try to start shooting it down. No, stalker runs back away. I'm going to go ahead and try to take down this pylon, as I thought at first that that pylon was the only thing powering these whole entire buildings, when I realized that it was not, in fact. In that way, I pull back out as there's that back pylon right on that edge right over there. Coming back over here, trying to use these Reapers to the best of my ability, trying to micro them. All three of my Reapers very low on hit points as my Reapers once again pulling back. Taking a look at the army size, I'm sitting on 1,000 well as my opponent's sitting on 950 at this stage. So I'm going to go ahead and try to move out with Marauders and Marines, trying to get a very sizable force. I needed a reactor core in order to get more Marines in order to even out this army a little bit. Zealots and Stalkers with an Immortal now moving out. That pylon once again being warped back in. So a fair army sitting right here. And now using that warp in to get some additional Stalkers. So Stalkers now being warped in. Reapers standing over here by the Zelnaga Tower as I have a couple units now moving out. So I have what is that going to be? 6 Marauders, a couple Marines, and a couple of Reapers to try to round out the rest of this army. I want to be careful with my Reapers, as my Reapers are generally faster than the rest of my units. I don't want them to get too far ahead, otherwise they're just gonna take a lot of that damage. I want to try to pull them to the back, but I keep on forgetting, and I think I make a mistake here. You want your Reapers off to that back. You don't want to be them in the same control group. Taking a look, we have Stalkers and Reapers now coming in, and more units being warped in, so a couple Stalkers being warped in as well. Gonna try to position these units, trying to get a little bit of a flank, lose one of my Reapers, so that's a lot of DPS already down. Gonna go ahead and try to get an EMP shockwave off, trying to take down some of those, and get able to get a lot of those units down. So I was thinking, okay, I'm looking pretty safe at this stage, but because he was able to warp in a fair amount of units, and now also has an Immortal, my 4 Marauders are going to be on the losing end of this fight. So my unit's now trying to pull back away, trying to regroup, and Stalkers are just going to be able to chase down the rest of these units. Single Ghost down to, what, 68 hit points, trying to run back away, and what, there's still more units chasing in. Stay tuned for part 2 and part 2 of this replay, as I promise you it gets much more exciting.